Hello and welcome to High Point Music. I'm Lewis and today I'm going to be taking you for a little run through on the Tim Guitars Fuzz Munchkin. The Fuzz Munchkin is the signature model fuzz for J Mascis of Dinosaur Jr. It was reverse engineered right here in Brisbane while the pedal was in for repair with a local tech, Tim at Tim Guitars. Let's have a look and see what it does. So I'll just give you a run through of clean tone, Fender Stratocaster into the 2 notes La Clean. This is my bridge sound. And neck pickup. And I'll quickly run you through the connections of the pedal. This one's pretty straightforward. We've got our guitar connected to the input, our amplifier connected to the amplifier connection. We're running our 9-volt True Tone 1-spot power supply to power it today. And the pedal has 3 knobs and 2 foot switches. So the effect foot switch turns it on. And the bypass foot switch bypasses the master volume, effectively giving you a flat out full volume solo channel, quite specific to J Mascis's requests. And the controls work like this. We've got our gain knob here. It'll vary the gain from minimum to maximum. Sound something like this. Somewhere a bit closer to full. And right up at maximum. So you can hear that the sustain gets quite high. We're getting a lot of rich harmonics coming off the pedal, but at the low gain range it's still a pretty good sounding fuzz. You do lose a little bit of sustain right down low, but compared to other pedals I've tried, it's quite a usable range. So I'll take you through some of the tone control settings. Just move that gain back, not quite so high. This is usually where I set the tone control, so we'll start there and vary back and forth from it. And then last, of course, is the volume control. Now the volume control on a Big Muff is essentially an attenuator. It reduces the maximum signal coming out of the pedal. So at its most full setting, the signal is coming straight through. It's not being affected, as if the bypass switch had been turned on. And the more you turn that control down, the lower the volume will get. This is important with a Big Muff to be aware of, because the volume control does affect the bass response a little bit of the signal. The lower the volume, the less bass will occur. So if you're running this into another pedal or something, you might find that turning that volume up here and adjusting it down on another pedal can give you a little bit more variations in your bottom end response, which then of course you can mix with the tone control. So I'll run you through some settings that I like to use with this fuzz pedal. We'll start with a low gain and kind of work our way up from there. So our low gain setting will be the gain at about 8 o'clock. A little bit more tone. So you can hear it's quite rich at this point, but there's still a lot of dynamic movement for you to work with your picking hand. The sustain is a little bit lower, so you might have to play a little bit harder if you want to get those long notes ringing out. But of course, the other thing you can do is turn the gain up, which is what we'll do next. So I'll set that to about, where are we? About 10 o'clock. I'm going to turn the tone down a little bit just to shave some of the top end response off. And I'm going to just a little adjustment of the volume. So our kind of low mid-range gain. So you can hear it picking up sustain pretty quickly there. We'll push the gain control up now to about 1 o'clock. Again, this is my favorite tone setting where it's cutting a little bit of bottom end off and a little bit of top end off. So I tend to leave it set there. So I'll go, where are we? About 2 o'clock. So obviously quite a bit more sustain now, and the bottom end response is increasing with the increased amount of gain. But if you're careful with your right hand picking technique, I think you'll find that it's still pretty easy to control. I'll push the gain up to its maximum now and give you a run through there, and I'll show you a bit more of that palm muting sort of sound that's capable with this pedal. It is one of my favorite pedals for palm muted fuzz sound because of how rich it is. So it's nice and present. It brings all of those notes that are being muted out and easy to hear, and the bottom end stays reasonably well under control. So. So you can hear that it's, while there's a lot of gain and sustain going on, it still stays reasonably well under control. Again, with that volume up, you'll find that the bottom end response changes, so that's a good way to manipulate the response you're going to get out of the pedal. So to wrap it up, I absolutely rate the Fuzz Munchkin. It's one of my favorite Big Muff Ramhead era style fuzzes. If you can get your hands on one, I think you'll have a really good time with it. But also keep in mind that there are a lot of variations of a Ramhead out there, and if that's the sound you're kind of looking for, there'll be a few ways to find it. You'll be able to find more information on how to get some of those pedals in the links below. There'll be a link below to the one-spot power supply we're using in the demo, because with most vintage fuzz recreations, a nice clean power supply I would consider a must-have. Don't forget to also check out our members area, and if you've enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. And happy fuzzing. I'll see you next week.